I want to tell you about what happened this morning. No big happenings, but the problem is, you know, my friend and I, who are both authors, were talking about all kinds of stuff to do with this and with social media, and I can't remember what all we were talking about. And I said something about, you know, who can be bored? Nobody can be bored and do the things we're doing every day. How can you be bored at all? And I actually maintain that if you're bored, you're not doing enough. You need to pick up another hobby or something. You need to do something. Start writing something. I don't know, do something. Because there's not enough time in the day. You know, you sit there and think, well, retired people have nothing to do. It's not full garden season, and, you know, you can't go out do outdoor activities and, you know, that kind of thing. But how would we be? It would sound boring to some people, but not to me, because it gives me time to allow these characters to take over my brain like they did this morning. It was maybe 2:33, and like most spring days, nights, I ended up getting this little niggling headache about 2:30, 3 o'clock. You know, the pollen is going crazy. All of a sudden the viewfinder turned off, and then I turned it back on and it kept going and finished the rest of the video. And then I came back when I was editing the thing, and I realized there was a whole section missing. It hadn't been recording at all. So I had to go do that. So I hope I can remember what I was saying. But I was talking about waking up at 2 and 3 in the morning because the pollen in the air and you know, the sinus headache kind of thing. Not a bad one, just enough to irritate you. You know, if you keep laying down without taking an aspirin or something, it's gonna get worse. So I got up to take the usual, you know, the Excedrin migraine stuff, cheaper variety than that, cheaper brand than that, but I got that and I lay back down. And that was a big mistake this morning, because all of a sudden, all these little characters in my head realized I was awake, and they got up to play. And they weren't playing. They weren't playing this morning. It's crazy. So I thought I would tell you, people who are very hot on the idea of this Clancy Mountain continuing with a book 4 and onward. There's going to be a book 4. I know I hinted at it before. I wasn't sure if it was going to be part of this series or part of something else, but it is part of this series. And that means I have to do a 5-2 because I hate even number series. It's just the thing I have. I don't know, odd numbers just makes better sense to me. So it's going to have a 5-2, but I had no idea. But the problem with this morning is when I wake up, all of a sudden these little characters come out and they start writing their own storylines. And I'm trying to go back to sleep, and my brain's going 90 miles an hour. And all of a sudden I'm thinking, am I going to remember this when I get up and I'm conscious and on my feet enough to type it out on the notes file that goes with this book? And so that thought keeps me awake, that I'll forget it and I won't be able to type it out. And I'll just forget what I thought of. So, you know, I was up by 4:30, which is not unusual, and not at all. The other day I got up at 2. I couldn't even keep myself in bed, so I started typing then. But the book number 4 that thing is growing like you wouldn't believe. It's got legs now. And in the last part of this book, number 3, I've already introduced one character, and I'm about to introduce a second character, and they're going to be characters in number 4. So, yeah, you'll continue that, and a couple of characters, several characters out of this book 3 are going to be in book 4, but there's going to be new characters, and I have not a clue what's going to go in book 5. I have a plan for book 3, at least part of a plan, and but that's the problem. I'm still writing book number 3. I mean, I have part of a plan for book 4. I mean, book 4. I'm not sure which I said. Book 4. I have a plan, or at least a partially formed plan. And book 3, though, is what I need to finish. I said I would be probably through with this draft April 1st. Well, April 1st is tomorrow, and I have 2 major scenes to write. And I think I can be all the way through one and maybe a good portion of the last one before or by tomorrow, as long as I don't keep making videos and stay out here and my husband brought home a bunch of plants, and so I was going to have to go plant them, and I thought, I better stick with what I'm doing right now, or I'll never get this done. So, yeah, if you're bored in your life, you really need something else to do, because I don't have time to be bored. I have whole towns and in relationships and things going on in my head from these books, characters that I created. And I put that little thing about, is it AI or bad writing yesterday? And I think honestly, people could be better writers, but they default to using these artificial methods for writing their stories. And if they spend as much time trying to learn how writing works and how storytelling works as they do making up AI prompts. And I know how that goes. You make up a prompt and you have to give it every detail. It takes a while to write those things. If you can write a prompt for AI, you can write the book. That's my contention. What do you think? If you can write these big detailed prompts for an AI to write a story for you, you can write the story. Why don't you try it? You people who always dabbling in this AI stuff. I don't want a robot to write my stuff. I don't want something else to have control of the characters I created in my head out of my own imagination and who I'm really attached to now. Other people are starting to be attached to, which that just tickles me pink that other people are getting attached to these characters. So, yeah, there's going to be a book 4 and most likely a book 5. I think, I love this town. I would move to this town. Are you kidding me? I would move there. But of course, I'm staying here for the rest of my life, I'm sure. Because I love this place. I've been at it for 24 years. And it was a tiny little town like Clancy when we first got here. And it's still not really big, but there are rumblings of happenings going on now in this town. They're widening roadways and they are building new yuppified businesses in town and for the tourists. And it's turning into something different than it was when we moved here. I still love it. I still love the feed store lady and some of the people that recognize me when I go through Walmart checkout. And I try to make myself be part of this town by when you're checking out Walmart and they have the name tags on, and if they flip over a lot of times, but if you can still read their name, I say thank you, and I say the name of the person. I say their name, have a great day, whatever I say to them at the end, I use their name, and I think that makes it more homey. It makes it more personal, and I think it makes them feel good that someone thought to say their name back to them. I mean, it seems like such a small thing, but that's kind of a small town thing. So, we know everybody's names. We know who these people are. We recognize these people. They recognize us. They're glad to see us. Most people are very glad to see us. So, I love the small town atmosphere. And a lot of people, they're happy in their suburbs and they're happy in their cities, but I surmise that most of those people haven't really experienced what this can be like, a good small town. But anyway, that's what I write about. I write about what I love, what I know, and what I want things to be, and what I realize things can't always work out the way you want them, and that's the way I write. I mean, and a lot of it writes itself running through my head before my eyes are even open in the morning. And so, what do you writers, what do you do? Does this happen to you too? Do these stories take on a life of themselves, all by themselves, and run off with you and drag you along with them? That's what this one's doing. That's what this whole series has done. And it's nobody can be bored when you've got that much going on in your life. You just can't be. So this song popped in my head from about 12 years ago. And it's not a song I would have, it's one of those songs where it's played so much that after a while you go, oh God, save me from this music. I can't take this anymore. In my generation, it was Tie a Yellow Ribbon by Tony Orlando and Dawn. Tie a yellow ribbon around the old oak tree. They played that so much. It was a war era song. And whoa. We couldn't get rid of it. I started to hate that song. Well, this song popped up in my head the last 2 days. I started hearing it. I'm like, why is that in my head? And you'll know, some of you people who've been around for a while, you'll know what this song is. It's Happy by Pharrell Williams. You remember Happy? How everybody's dancing in the streets to this song, Happy? Well, I thought, okay, I've got to do some therapy on myself, and I'm going to make myself not think about this song. So I'm doing a little bit of reverse psychology, and I thought I went to look on YouTube for the video, for the music video, to play it while I'm putting on my makeup, right? So I turned that song on. It's he's singing this song, and it's just and all of a sudden, out of the corner of my eye, I see my husband standing in my doorway. Right, and he goes, I said, "Is there something you want?" He goes, he said, "I just heard something weird, and I was coming to see what it was." This is the same person who, one year when I said, "Are you happy?" And then I don't know what he said. I can't remember what his answer was. And he said, "Well, are you?" or something like that. And I said, "I have these irrational fits of happiness, yes." And he goes, "That is irrational." This is the irrational guy. And he's trying to see what the happy music was that I was playing. He's like, he heard something weird. Okay, so I was like, okay. Well, I thought, well, if I play it and actually listen to the music video, maybe it'll leave my head because I'm hearing snippets and they're not exactly the words that were in the song. So pray for me. I don't know, but it's in my head. This song, Happy. Oh gosh, please help me. Oh, so anyway, that's all I have to say. But yeah, this book is, the book number 4 is writing itself. It has a life of its own, and boy, if I could just, I have to use dynamite to get those characters out of my head about now, I think. So you people who wanted a book 4, even though you haven't read book 3 yet, you're getting it. Book 5, I'm going to have to write a book 5. I just can't stand even numbered series numbers. I just can't. It's just this thing I have. And I think a lot of other people are kind of like that too. Odd numbers are better for those. Well, it is what it is, and it'll end up the way it ends up. But I'm just kind of playing it by ear, and when I do that, I think I get played like a fiddle by these characters I've just made. So that's what's going on around here as far as book news. And I hope everybody loves this. Oh my goodness. I've made a few shorts on Instagram, and I've made a couple of shorts here on YouTube. I'm just not real cell phone savvy. I don't do internet on my phone. I've always had a phone for use as a phone, not a locator, not a map, just a phone. And I don't know how to do this stuff. And now YouTube has hogtied me where I can't change the thumbnail for anything that's a short. It says you can change your thumbnail in the YouTube mobile app. I'm like, no, don't do that to me. I don't know how to use that. So I went and got in there, and I'm looking at it, and it's not the author ID. It's the main channel ID. And I'm like, I can't even find out how to get to my author channel on here. How do I switch accounts? And I finally found that. I went, okay, well, where do I change a thumbnail? I can't even figure it out. I've got one of the biggest cell phones on the market, and I hate it because it's so big, but I can barely see it. I don't know how anybody lives their life with this tiny little screen. It's so funny. As TVs got bigger and bigger, cell phones got smaller and smaller. Or at least they didn't grow exponentially along with the size of the television. I don't know how to look. And I'm nearsighted, so I can see without my glasses, and I still can't figure this out. I still can't find it. I change a thumbnail in the mobile app. I don't want a mobile app. I don't want any apps. I just want a phone. I know, kicking and screaming into the 21st century. I get it, but sorry. I think it helps save my sanity that I'm not always doom scrolling on a phone. I won't be walking into walls or getting mugged because I'm not watching my surroundings. That's it. That's it. Talk to you guys later. But yes, book 4 and 5 will be coming down the pike. And I'm introducing 2 characters in book 3 near the end that will be in the next one. So, have a nice spring day, everybody. See you later. Bye.